Good afternoon, traders. Today is Monday, March the 21st, 2011. It's around 1:30 p.m. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I sure did. I was on the water on Sunday on the boat fishing, and on Saturday I was actually at the beach, caught about 15 fish. It was nice. So right now we're looking at the E-mini futures. Right now we closed at around 1275 just on Friday. 4:15 the futures market closes, and then after that we've just been pretty much drifting up through this entire evening after hour session. London markets open around 1:30 a.m. and you see this nice 13-point move all the way up, and then we traded down to 1289, which is right where the opening line is. They ran it up to a high of 1296, a 7-point move. You see though that the after hours move was a lot greater than our cash move, and the reason for that is a lot of offshore money, it could be from the Caymans, it could be in other countries, was being put to work. And whenever you see big moves in the after hours session, you got to believe that some people have information. In this case, a lot of it had to do with the T-Mobile AT&T acquisition. On the right here we have a daily chart. I'm just going to mark a couple lines. 1343, the prior high. 1250, which was the level that we couldn't hold below. They snapped it back up above the 100-day moving average at 1261, and from there on we've just been going up, and it's been some nice buying the last 3 sessions. Now 1300 is the inflection point, and this is on every trader's screen right now. 1300 should be on yours too. 1300 to 1303 is going to be our range, and I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. 1303 would be right here. Okay, so with a move and a hold above 1303, we're going to look to hit 1312, and they could keep rallying this thing up until we get maybe to around 1330, and that's when another leg could come in, and that could be the initial down move that everyone was waiting for. Now you see also we have a declining trend line, and that ends up around the 1320 level, and that's called an external trend line. If you want to draw an internal trend line, you'll end up around the 1300 level if you want to connect the dots. So what you would see if it was a bearish sign that they wanted to put in another lower high, they couldn't get above the 20-day moving average or the 50, you would see a big volume bar come in on this selling, and that's what would initially lead us down to the 1220 level. And you see the last 1, 2, 3 sessions, we're going to look at the volume bars and connect them. That was lower average volume, lower than average, and lower than average. And you see this big bar right here? This was called a waterfall effect. It's when a lot of the shorts get squeezed out, and that's when you see the covering. But we would have liked to see a little more volume come through for this up move to be confirmed. So long story short, tomorrow and the next day and Wednesday will play a big role of where we will go next. Now I'm looking at AT&T, and they said that they would acquire T-Mobile for $39 billion. 19 of that billion would come from their own balance sheet and their debt, and the other 20 billion would be a bridge loan from JP Morgan, which has already approved it without the Fed's, how should I say this, permission. And you have to note with this, not a lot of people know that the Federal Reserve is a private corporation. A lot of people think that it's owned by the United States government. That is not true. I'm going to have to dig out the whole article that explains exactly who owns the Federal Reserve, but it's actually a group of companies which are then owned by families. Long story short again, JP Morgan is one of the banks that owns the Federal Reserve, along with Goldman Sachs. Over Goldman Sachs' history of being in the stock market, they've probably had over 5,000 insider trading scandals that they've never once been convicted of, and that's because they are in cahoots with the government and they are partial owners of the Federal Reserve. They control the market, if you want to say it like that. So anyways, that's a little off topic, but the $20 billion loan was complete. Now, one thing that I should point out is AT&T will then be a monopoly, and they will be one of the main leaders in the industry. And I don't like that, because there needs to be competitiveness in any business, and that's actually against the law to have a monopoly, if you guys didn't know that. So I don't really like this, and we'll see how it continues to play out. So right now you see the stock moving down, and that's because whenever a stock acquires another stock, it moves down because you're adding debt to your balance sheet that therefore is not good for the company. So if you just knew what I just told you, that one article, you could have been shorting the stock at 12 or 28.81, and you would have had a decent 70-point move on a $28 stock. That's massive, guys. Now I'm taking a look at Agrium, symbol AGU, and they're an agriculture company, just like Mosaic, CF Industries, Intrepid Potash, and POT. They got a downgrade today from Goldman Sachs from neutral to sell, and the firm believes that they will correct from their 2011 peaks, and its nitrogen demand will continue to decline. So they lowered the price target from 98 to 81. That's not good, especially for Mosaic, which we do like. But Agrium is the leader of nitrogen phosphate, so we have to keep that in the back of our heads, that there still could be a larger move for Mosaic coming ahead. Not right now. We'll wait to get it at a lower price, but that's definitely on my radar. CF Industries also got a downgrade from Goldman Sachs today. That's why you see it drifting down. And I actually owned calls of this, and they expired worthless. I wasn't sure. I put my order out there, so be careful, guys. I own this thing ever since March 9th, which was right here, and I sat through some pain. It actually gapped up to 132, but the options it expired worthless. I lost about 50 bucks on that trade. Just be careful when you're putting out good to cancel orders. Always watch that stock every day, and I made a novice trader move, but I own up to that. Now we're looking at Charles Schwab, symbol SCHW, acquiring Options Express, symbol OXPS, for about $1 billion. Again, if you knew just that one line, that when a company is adding massive amounts of debt, $1 billion is a lot of debt to their balance sheet, there's going to be a decline in the stock. So you could have shorted it, made it easy, 30 cents off the open. Now you see it rallying back up, but there you see a confirmed lower high. That's where all the other shorts are getting in. 1760 couldn't hold. Now you continue down to the 50. Probably will hit 1748, maybe see a little more demand, and potentially go lower and hit this 1742 to 1736 prior low. What they're trying to do here is compete with the other large brokers like TD Ameritrade. That's my broker. I've had Schwab, small accounts. I've had E-Trade. TD Ameritrade, I'm not, they don't pay me to say this, but they're an excellent broker, excellent customer service. I don't have one bad remark against them. So I feel 100% safe on my money. And just talking about TD Ameritrade, let me bring up their stock, which is trading at 20.89 right now, coming off the 22.90 high. 26.37 is the all-time high the stock put in around 2005 area. And they acquired Thinkorswim, which is the software that I'm using now. And you see this stock actually rallied up from 2061 to 2096. So the brokers are pretty hot today. Next we're looking at Google. Google rallied from 570 to 579 right off the open, 9 points. If you're an options trader, that was a heck of a move that you could have caught. And they actually gapped it up from 561. So that's an 18-point move in one day. You were holding options going into Friday's close. You are pretty happy right now. They sold off massively. This could be the bottom of Google. And the news comes on the back of Sprint, and Google announced today that they integrated the Google Voice experience, and that will allow Sprint customers to set their existing Sprint wireless phone number as their Google Voice account. Let's keep watching Big Google. They could get back up to 589. It really wouldn't be much of a measure to push it up there. Next, taking a look at symbol APC, Anadarko Petroleum Corporation. They said that Korean National Oil Corporation agreed to pay $1.55 billion for 1/3 interest in its Maverick Basin assets in England, Shale, and Texas. The terms of the deal called for the South Korean company to receive 80,000 net acres in the region, and the transaction is expected to close in the second quarter. That's why you're seeing a almost 2.5% boost in the stock today, gapping up from a close of 77.20 all the way to 77 or 79.75. And that's the reason because this is just like when you see an acquisition, it's like the complete opposite. You're actually adding liquidity to your balance sheet and adding more profits, and investors seem to be taking this pretty well. Looking over on the daily chart, they're gapping it pretty much above the 20-day moving average and the 50. So if we could hold above 79.03 and get back above 80, you might be able to take out this 82.92 with little or no resistance at all. Keep watching this stock. Put it on your radar, guys. APC. Look at Goldman Sachs here. And after Warren Buffett came out and said that he expects Goldman Sachs shares to move higher, they continue to move higher in a high of 162.15 today. And as long as we can hold above 160 on Goldman, you might be able to get a larger move. We're still under this ascending trend line, and that's a little bearish, so continue to trade in this range between 160, 160, and 160. As a day trader, you're loving this action. It's been pretty swift, and you see above average volume coming in here today. And last stock I'm talking about is PCAR, Packer. And they got an upgrade today from UBS, giving them a buy, and the target is 60. It's right up here, guys, where I put my crosshairs. They broke out of this downtrend, and you see we have all ascending moving averages until we get up to the 50 and 100, but we are above the 200. That alone is bullish. We got a buy on the PPS today, and there's a good chance that we'll close above average volume. Looking for 49.55 to hold for a greater move, and just continue trading this one to the upside. And last but not least, gold futures. Have to talk about this. 1400 held as support. Key psychological 1400, guys. They, as soon as it came down, they bought it above the 50 and 100-day moving averages, and now you see another break out of this little wedge pattern, and it looks like we're heading back up to another all-time high. 1450 is going to be a key resistance level, and if we get over that, I think that 1500 will be approached in the next month. That's it for today. Good luck trading, traders. Talk to you guys tomorrow.